Chapter 1. A machine that doesn't sleep. Have you ever checked the history of movements in your navigator and found places where you definitely haven't been? My name is Mark, and last week I bought a used SUV from a guy who looked too hasty. On the second night of possession, I received a notification on my phone. Your car arrived at the destination, City Cemetery number 4. The problem is that I was sleeping in my bed at that time, and the keys were on the bedside table. At first I thought it was a system glitch, but when I found a children's shoe and an old voice recorder under the back seat, on which someone was whispering my name, I realized that I bought more than just a car. I bought someone's unfinished nightmare. Favorable deal. I was looking for a car for trips to nature. Found an ad, black Jeep, the price is almost half the market. The seller, let's call him Chris, met me in the parking lot of the shopping center. He constantly looked around, twitched at every sound of the siren, and did not bargain for a second. Take it and leave, the documents are in the glove box, he said, literally sticking the keys in me. The first day everything was great, but at night I received a push notification from the Smart Drive application, which was included with the car. It showed that my Jeep was traveling. On a bypass road at a speed of 100 km, I jumped out into the yard. The car was standing still. Server failure, I thought. Gift from the previous owner. The next night, the notification was repeated. At 3:15 in the morning. Destination, a forest section 10 miles from the city. This time I didn't sleep. I took a flashlight and went to search the salon. I tore off the trim in the trunk and found a second GPS tracker there, which was not connected to the car system. It was autonomous. Someone was following this car, but not me, but where it was supposed to be. But I found the creepiest thing under the driver's mat. There was an envelope glued there, and there was a flash drive in it. I brought it home, inserted it into the computer, and saw hundreds of photos of me. Photos taken from the window of this very Jeep a month before I bought it. This guy Chris didn't just sell me the car. He was tracking me down to sell me this particular car. Voice from the darkness. I turned on the same voice recorder found under the seat. There was a recording of the conversation. Are you sure he fits? Asked a rude male voice. Yes, answered Chris's voice. He has no family, he lives alone, and he always travels on the same route. When he arrives at the cemetery for the third time, the system will lock the doors. Next is your work. I got cold. The car was programmed. It wasn't a navigator glitch. It was a timer. And according to the application, I have to visit the cemetery one more time to make the trap slam shut. At that moment, the headlights of my Jeep in the yard suddenly lit up by themselves. A powerful sound signal cut through the silence of the night, and the last message came to my phone. The route has been rebuilt. Arrival time now. Chapter 2, Autopilot from Hell. As soon as the headlights flashed, the doors of the Jeep locked with a loud click. I didn't even have time to jump out of the salon. The engine roared, although my hands did not touch the start button. The car abruptly rushed from its place, knocking out the garden gate. Hey, stop! I hit the brakes, but the pedal just fell into the floor. It was programmed to be disabled. Chris's face appeared on the center screen instead of a map. He didn't look scared anymore. He was smiling. I'm sorry, Mark, you're just the perfect donor. Your blood type, your height. My customers need a new body for their project. This Jeep will take you straight to them. Don't try to break the windows, they are armored. Just relax and enjoy your last trip. The car was flying on the night highway. I realized, it's not just a GPS tracker. The car had a built-in remote control unit, which is used in drones. Chris controlled me via the internet like a toy car. Digital riot. I knew that any system has a vulnerability. I remembered those photos on a flash drive. If Chris followed me, it means he used the car's local area network. I tore off the panel under the steering wheel. There was a lot of wires, but I was looking for the OBD2 port. I remembered that I had a powerful magnet left in my pocket, which I used to attach the phone. If I can't hack the system, I'll burn it, I whispered. I applied the magnet directly to the main processor of the multimedia system. The screen was flickering, there were green stripes. Chris's voice turned into a grinding sound. But the car didn't stop. It started, weighing from side to side at a speed of 120 km. We were approaching the cemetery gate. I saw 2 black vans and masked people in the headlights. They were waiting for me. Jump into the darkness. The brakes still didn't work, but due to magnetic interference, the trunk lock began to click chaotically. It was my only chance. I got into the back seat, knocking my elbows into blood. The car had already entered the cemetery, knocking down the old fence. Come on, open up, I shouted, kicking the trunk door. The moment the Jeep was flying past the first van, the castle gave way. I fell out of the car right on the go, riding on the wet grass between the tombstones. The Jeep, having lost control, crashed into a tree at full speed right in front of masked people. The explosion was so powerful that the sky turned orange for a moment. The gas tank that Chris filled to the brim turned the car into a fireball. I was lying in the shade of the old crypt, holding my breath. People jumped out of the vans. Is he there? Check the salon, someone shouted. Everything is on fire there. If he was inside, there was nothing left of him. We're leaving before the police arrive. They jumped into their cars and fled, leaving my perfect SUV to burn out. They thought I was dead. And that was my main advantage. I picked up the same voice recorder from the ground that fell out of my pocket when I fell. The red light of the record was still on it. All their conversation, their voices and the noise of the engines of their vans, everything was recorded. Chapter 3, Ghost on Communication. Chris was sure I got burned in that Jeep. He was sitting in his cozy office, drinking coffee and calculating the advance from the customers. He didn't know that I survived and that I had an autonomous tracker in my hands, which was set up for his phone. I didn't go to the police. I went to the internet cafe and created an anonymous account. I sent Chris just one message with a photo of his burning car and a text. "You forgot to turn off the voice recorder, Chris. I can hear everything you say." Even now, I saw through the tracker how his point on the map began to rush. He was in a panic. He got into his car and drove to the very place where it all began, to the parking lot of the shopping center. He thought there was his roof. Live justice. I've been waiting for him there, but not with a gun, but with a laptop and access to the billboard of the shopping center. It was easy to hack after what I experienced. In a smart car. When Chris jumped out of the car, looking around, a recording suddenly turned on a huge screen above his head. The whole city, all passers-by, heard his voice. He's the perfect donor. The system will lock the doors. When he arrives at the cemetery, his face in close-up, from the same photos that he took himself, flaunted on a shield with the inscription, "This man sells you for organs." Chris fell on his knees. He realized that now no roof would save him. People around started to take out phones. 5 minutes later, the police arrived, but this time they couldn't just shut up. The case, hundreds of people were witnesses. Final epilogue. Chris was taken right under that screen. It turned out that he was part of an international network that used smart cars as mobile traps. They found lonely people through classified sites and literally delivered them into the hands of criminals. I got compensation from the automaker for a hole in the security of their system. But you know what? I don't buy cars with touchscreens anymore. Now I'm driving an old pickup truck from the 90s. It has no GPS, no Wi-Fi, and no electric locks. The only smart subject in this machine is myself. Guys, it was the 14th issue. I have a backfill question for you. Have you ever thought that your car knows more about you than your family? And are you ready to give up comfort so that no one can press the stop button on your life? Write in the comments, analog or digit. And remember, if your navigator leads you to the wrong place, it may not be a mistake. Maybe they're waiting for you. Like my victory over the system. Subscribe. In the 15th video, I will tell a story about how I got a job as a night watchman in an old library and found that the books, they were written with human blood. Storytime Secrets was with you. Keep an eye on the road and don't trust questionable deals. Bye.